One of the spells in the book is called I'm a rock I tell ya. Pull your cloak up around you, drop to all fours, and become a boulder. Plus 10 to stealth. And that one's a cantrip. Another spell in the book creates a volcano, a real, actual, permanent volcano. 60-foot mountain, 15d10 fire damage every round within 100 feet. Ash obscures everything for a mile. And that one's a 9th level spell. I wrote 75 more spells between those two extremes. The hardest part wasn't the volcano. Here's the thing about earth magic. Everyone thinks they know what it does. You throw a rock, you make a wall, you cause an earthquake. Congratulations, you've got about 12 spells. Now do 65 more. The trap is thinking in fantasy terms. Earth magic gives you rocks, dirt, mud, maybe some crystals if you're feeling fancy. You run out of ideas fast, and then you start doing what every homebrew spell list does. You reskin the same effect at different levels. You got tremor at 1st level, so you do bigger tremor at 3rd level, really big tremor at 5th level. And players, they see through that in about 2 sessions. Now I hit this wall around spell number 40. Not writer's block, something worse. I started to repeat myself. Different names, different levels, same spell. So I closed the fantasy books and I opened up a geology textbook. What does Earth actually do? It erodes, it compresses, it fractures along fault lines. It crystallizes under pressure. And sand? Sand is just rock that lost a long argument with wind and water. And glass is just sand that met lightning. And liquefaction? When saturated soil loses structural integrity during a seismic activity, that's not a fantasy concept, that's a real thing that happens. And it became one of my favorite spells in the book. So once I stopped thinking about magic and started thinking about the real world, the spells didn't just come easier, they got weirder. Better weird. Let me show you what I mean. Fermentation, it's a cantrip. You touch a container of liquid and it instantly becomes booze. Constitution save or disadvantage on dexterity checks. Your wizard is now a walking brewery, and suddenly you're every barbarian's favorite character. That didn't come from thinking about earth magic. It came from thinking about what yeast does. Yeast is an organism in the soil. Fermentation is a biological process driven by organic chemistry. It's earth magic if you think about it for 10 seconds. And nobody else ever did. So now it's a spell. The unwashed masses, 1st level. You make up to 6 people look and smell like they haven't bathed in a month. Gives you disadvantage on persuasion with nobility, but it gives you advantage on deception to blend in with laborers. Well, that's an espionage spell disguised as a joke. And then there's the golem line. Clay golem at 3rd level, basically a scout made of wet clay. Stone golem at 5th level, a proper combat summon. And then iron golem at 8th level, permanent, devastating, and you can cast spells in them to customize their immunities. Protection from energy gives it fire immunity. Magic weapon makes its attacks magical. You're building your golem like a character. Then on top of that, you got Hand of God, 6th level. A colossal hand of earth erupts from the ground, grabs the creature, and crushes it. 4d10 bludgeoning, then 3d10 every round it stays grappled. Bonus action to grab someone else. And there's Gravity Shift at 7th level. Lets you change which direction is down inside a 50-foot cube. Every round as a bonus action. Slam creatures into walls, ceiling, floor, and repeat. None of that came from asking, what would an earth mage do? All of it came from asking, what does earth actually do? And the creative part was the fun part. The balance part, that was the hard part. Every spell got compared to its closest official analog. Writing a 3rd level control spell, I'm comparing it to slow, hypnotic pattern, or maybe to fear. Not to match them, but to understand what a 3rd level spell is worth. Boulder does 4d10 at 3rd level. That's comparable to a beefed up catapult. Sandwhip does 4d10 repeatable at 4th level. That's in Evard's Black Tentacles territory. And the test was simple. Would a player choose mine over the official version? If the answer was always yes, then the spell was too strong. And if the answer was always no, then why did it exist? And 77 spells later, I think every one of them passes that test. Not because they're all perfectly balanced. I'm sure someone will find something I missed. But because each one has a reason to exist that isn't just the same thing but bigger. Now, the Terramancer is live on DriveThruRPG. $9.99 for 77 spells, 7 subclass features, and a wizard class where your cantrip turns you into a boulder and your capstone creates a volcano. Links in the description. And if you follow MaylinsGames on DriveThruRPG, you'll get notified when the Terramancer drops. Same design philosophy, different element, equally weird spells. Well, the ground may shake, but the tavern's open. Pull up a chair and tell me all about it. What element would you design a full spell list for? I want to hear it, really.